Hare Krishna Mataji, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Prabhu.
All right, Prabhu. So you're already live. I have put you on the screen, and in 2 minutes you can start speaking.
Yes, Prabhu. Prabhu, you can hear?
Yes.
Sit down.
And Krishna devotees, we will start soon once Acharya Mr Prabhu joins. Okay. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Haribol.
Dhanavad Prabhu.
Licenses.
Let's give some couple of more minutes devotees to join, then we'll get started. Okay.
Yeah, great, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Let's give one more minute, then we'll get started for the program. So Acharya Mr Prabhu, we could get started. Okay. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining this monthly book distribution webinar. This is our first in the series throughout this year. And we are very, very grateful to have Acharya Mr Prabhu as our inaugural speaker. And he does not need any introduction per se, because he's been in this movement for a long time. He's a good friend and a mentor of mine as well. So a few words about Acharya Mr Prabhu. Prabhuji joined ISKCON in 2009 after studying religion and philosophy in college. Then he settled at ISKCON Chicago in 2011. Since then, he has been serving book distribution, Harinam Sankirtan, new devotee cultivation, and lecturing. He currently travels internationally for preaching and book distribution Sankirtan movement. So we welcome Acharya Mr Prabhu to the program. So Prabhuji, please take over from here.
Haribol. Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, Prabhu.
Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Pancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhya Evacha Titanan Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yudapada Kamalang Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raguna Tanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Brindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you so much, Prem Sora Prabhu. It's nice to see you after a little while it's been. And also a warm welcome to all the devotees who have joined today. I'm very honored to be with you all in a attempt to share some inspiration in the book distribution where you are at your different locales, and especially helping out ISKCON Chicago with their efforts. So Prabhuji mentioned a little bit about myself. Just to add on to that, what really inspired me in book distribution as a new devotee was that I came across a book called This Is My Request. It's a small compilation of quotes by Srila Prabhupada. And it really just brings to light how important book distribution is to Srila Prabhupada. And it just paints a beautiful picture of how important this service is. Of course, in ISKCON today, there's many different, we could say, specialities. There's different fields, there's different departments. And this is very good, this is very natural, this is very healthy. But at the same time, we do see that Prabhupada's placed a special emphasis on distribution of his literature. So today we'll just look into that a little bit, explore some of that, why that is so. And towards the end, we will try to explore also some techniques, explore some strategies, how we can increase and improve our own book distribution. So for myself, when I was contemplating the subject, I see book distribution in a particular light. And this is also, to me, it's comparable to a certain principle of the appearance of Lord Chaitanya. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda. So the Panchatattva came, they descended to this world in order to break open the storehouse of love of Godhead and actually share prema bhakti with the residents of this world, the inhabitants of this material world. So we are fortunate enough to come in contact with this transcendental movement. And it's explained in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has his internal reasons for appearing and also his external reasons. Internally, Krishna wants to experience and taste this certain special, unique love of his own internal energy, who is Srimati Radharani. So he appears in the form of Gauranga, and he himself experiences his own qualities. This is a very elevated subject matter, how God is described as feeling a lack. God is Purnam, completely perfect, but transcendentally he feels something missing from his experience. And this is a pastime which allows him to relish himself. How God can obtain even more pleasure by experiencing his own qualities. So he appears and assumes the color and sentiment of Srimati Radharani, who is his internal energy, in order to deeply experience love of God. So Mahaprabhu comes to primarily for this reason. And it's explained in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that at the same time, it comes the juncture of where there is a need for a avatar. And so for two reasons, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu descends early in the age of Kali and Nadia. He says, in the company of my devotees, I shall appear on earth and perform wonderful, various colorful pastimes. So Krishna himself is the only person who has this power to actually spread love of Godhead to other living entities. This is the most special, unique feature of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that in this avatar, he comes to deliver Krishna Prema. Other avatars of the Lord, they deliver the miscreants, they protect the devotees, but Mahaprabhu himself comes for a very special and unique and rare purpose. I'm just gonna grab a glass of water right here because my throat is dry. If you bear with me 1 minute. And this is really where it connects with us, how we are having this privilege and this available to tap into this mission of Mahaprabhu. So what does it mean for us? How can we get involved? And this is a good question we should ask. Mahaprabhu came with this incredible mission. Wow, he's ready to give love of Godhead to anyone and everyone. How can we really be a recipient of that? This is a good question that just like in school, you know, the best students, they sit in front, they always have questions. In spiritual life, if we be like this, we'll be greatly benefited. Very seriously inquire, what does all this mean for me or for us? So similarly, Srila Prabhupada has given us book distribution, and we can look at this in terms of an internal and external reason. Externally, Prabhupada has reminded us again and again that the conditioned souls in this world are suffering like anything, including ourselves. We've misidentified with a false body that we have nothing to do with. We've created a reality based on that body. These are completely foreign to us as the soul. The soul is just hankering to be reunited in our real relationship with Krishna. So externally, we have a duty to share transcendental knowledge. We have an obligation. We've received it, and we have to pass it forward. If we just keep it for ourselves, this is called miserliness. If someone has a lot of money, they just stash it up, they never give it, then Prabhupada says this is a miserly mentality. So similarly, we've received the highest transcendental knowledge. If we don't share it, then that's a form of violence, actually. So we kind of have this on our head. Yes, I have this duty, I have this obligation. And Prabhupada made this very clear throughout his teachings, his lectures, his letters. He says, I want that you, all of my students, shall very vigorously try for this book distribution. So he invited everyone in his movement to try very vigorously for this book distribution. And he's saying that this is how the age of Kali will be smashed or defeated, by increasing this distribution of transcendental knowledge. This is our hope, our weapon against this age of Kali. How to remind living entities who we are. Who we are. We have so many busy lives and duties, and we go to school and we learn so many things, but really most of that doesn't teach us even who we are. So that is that's another important point for contemplation. So externally, in one sense, yes, we have this reason why we need to do book distribution, but also there's another reason, and that's an internal reason. And that is that our constitutional position will never be satisfied until we deeply connect with Krishna, until we really feel the presence of Krishna, Lord Chaitanya, and Radharani in our life. We can go on in devotional service for many years, but until we feel this tangibly, it remains a lot of theory. And so book distribution is an extremely powerful way. It's like a highway or a fast track to really actually experience some of this mercy. And for myself, this is what really changed my life and really inspired me in devotional life and spiritual life and in Krishna consciousness. Why is that? Well, we covered that Mahaprabhu is actually, we could say, the original Sankirtan devotee. He's the inaugurator of the Sankirtan movement. And having some experience and sharing that is a principle that is very healthy. It's very holistic. It's very nourishing. So personally, I found that going out and meeting people, someone you would never normally run into, specifically because you're trying to share the Lord's mercy, it opens up a whole new portal of mercy to come in your life that if you didn't do that. There's 9 angas of bhakti, and there's many opportunities we have for devotional services. But to go out of our way to try to distribute this confidential knowledge of who God is, this is extremely pleasing to the Lord. And this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission, actually. So when we take this up, that mercy of the Lord flows into us. And particularly Mahaprabhu is the Audarya avatar because he is enriched with the moods of Srimati Radharani. So we know we cannot actually directly get Krishna's mercy. This is not a very worthwhile endeavor to directly get Krishna's mercy. Rather, Krishna's mercy flows through his devotees. Srimati Radhika is the complete totality of Krishna's internal energy, of his bhakti shakti. So Radharani becomes very pleased. This is Radha Kripa. This is Radharani's mercy. And it doesn't matter who we are, where we've come from, what talents we have, what skills we have, or what shortcomings we have. This mercy is absolute. Bhakti is independent. It doesn't matter on any of these things. So sometimes we create our own walls or our own disqualifications. We think, oh, I can't do book distribution because of this. But none of that is real. That's just like identifying with our material body or our mind or our intelligence. It's not who we are. And there's no hindrance to the soul pursuing and accepting this mercy of Srimati Radharani in this way. So personally, I found that this was such an extraordinary means to enrich my devotional life. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, many of you may remember this passage in the 8th canto, describing Lord Shiva. Out of compassion, he took the poison from the milk ocean. And this verse from the Bhagavatam says, it is said that great personalities almost always accept voluntarily suffering because of the suffering of people in general. This is considered the highest method of worshiping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is present in everyone's heart. And this was really Prabhupada's mood. Prabhupada, who is a very empowered Jagat Guru, world Acharya, just like fire when Prabhupada arrived in New York and started his movement, just like an eruption, like a volcano, because of his particular empowerment by Krishna, by Lord Nityananda. And very, very broad-minded vision for how to really transform the whole planet. Not just, many people dream about changing the world, but Prabhupada was someone who actually he thought about it, he meditated on it, and he did it. He is the lion-like Jagat Guru. So this was really his mood, and when we see his preaching of whole wide-scale mass distribution of literature, changing the face of the earth, changing the face of this planet. And he even mentions that this is our greatest weapon. The more books are distributed, the more the ignorance of the age of Kali will be smashed. The world is feeling the weight of this Hare Krishna movement. We have to increase this book distribution work more and more to firmly establish this movement, which is the only hope for the suffering living entities. So throughout the Srimad Bhagavatam, throughout all Prabhupada's books, he encourages and, we would say he embodies, he personifies, and he encourages his followers to likewise take this up, to tap into this river of mercy, like a raging river. And just going out on book distribution, you're getting some of that water, you're getting some drops. And you might be inspired to go further. Okay, I got some drops, that was nice. Let me go a little deeper. Let me wade a little more in. Now I feel a stronger current. Wow, this is incredible. Now let me keep going, then you go slowly up to your waist. And you can also just dive in. You can just dive in, just be a full, distribute books full time. and just really experience what kind of mercy is available by surrendering to this this transcendental activity. Another aspect is that book distribution is like an adventure. It's like an adventure. We need something exciting in life, you know. People are, for COVID, everyone's been cooped up inside. And now with the world situation, everyone's in panic and fear. We're looking for a good adventure in life. So what's the best way? It's very easy. Just get some of Prabhupada's books, get a backpack, and go and walk out the door. You'll have a real adventure because you'll be with Krishna. And there's something so special about meeting people for the first time with the intent, with the desire to share something with them, share some mercy with them. It's really like going on an adventure. And this is how we can really feel Krishna's presence, taking this risk, taking this unknown step. It takes us out of the ordinary, our comfort zone, or some services where we don't have to really put our life on the line in a certain manner of speech. And Prabhupada said how this is makes one very quickly recognized by Krishna. So there's what's very amazing about book distribution is that this service is decorated with many transcendental qualities. When you take this up, you will have you will come in contact with certain qualities that you need to develop, that we need to develop as devotees. So it's kind of like a wonderful sadhana also. The one quality, of course, is surrender, sharanagati. The reason we're here in this material world is that we don't want to surrender to Krishna. We don't want to do something that our mind doesn't want to do. We want to be independent. We want to be in control. Guess what? When you go on this Sankirtan adventure, all of that is stripped away from you pretty quick. Your comforts, your recognition, your security. So guess what? That's really helpful for progressing in spiritual life. And also, what really is required in this service is to develop compassion. If you don't really care about someone, it's hard to really make an effort to share something with them. So it reminds us, oh yeah, there's someone other than me in this world. I'm not God. I'm not the only living entity. I'm not Brahma. I'm not the only created being. No, there's other living beings, and they're all undergoing this material existence, and they're all suffering in forgetfulness. And some people may be aware that they're suffering, and some may be in a very deep dream that they're actually enjoying. Maybe they have a big car, or they're with someone very attractive. But we know that this is just another flavor of Maya. It's another flavor of suffering, because the more we become attached to things of this world, the more we endure the cycle of samsara. So this helps us awaken compassion and genuine care, genuine love for other living beings, to see others as we would like to be seen ourselves. This will help us very much, and it helps get us out of our own, as they say, autobiography. Mercy. Mercy is to now actively share something that I've been blessed with. I haven't really achieved anything in my spiritual life. I haven't earned anything, but rather some things have descended to me. The mercy descends to us. It's not by our own power or by our own good qualities, but we've been the recipient of some of this causeless mercy, and therefore we appreciate. This is how we show our appreciation for that. We can show our indebtedness to that by endeavoring to share it with others. And also, we know these different processes of bhakti, shravanam, kirtanam. Smaranam. So actually book distribution is considered under kirtan because normally you may not have the opportunity to speak about Krishna. Maybe you go to work or you're very busy during your day. So we may not have that opportunity, but when you're doing book distribution, you have the privilege to always think of something spiritual. You have that on the forefront of your mind. So this is why it's a good sadhana also. It puts you in a position where you have to always remember transcendental knowledge, who you're doing it for, why you're doing it, and to also be able to share deep spiritual messages with people who really need them. How many times we go on book distribution, we meet someone who really needed this, or someone was really looking for this. And this is how it can become an instrument. As soon as you go out on book distribution, you're an instrument, and things are beyond your control now. Krishna is going to send people to you who are looking for this. So you get to be a little puppet in Krishna's hands. That's really the perfection of our life. And also humility. And this is one of the greatest qualities extolled of a devotee, and something we need to work on the most, perhaps. And anyone who's done book distribution knows that the square one, you cannot distribute books if you're feeling proud. You have to put yourself in a lower position in order to have any mercy flow through you. I'm just going to switch on the light. So this is a great asset to help bring us down a little bit from our very high post of the ego. Ego has a big throne, big Vyasasan we've carved nicely for ourselves. But if you want to be an instrument in book distribution, you have to jump off that asana head first. You have to really bow down and be in that spirit throughout your day. And then by doing that, you'll be able to really connect with people. You'll be able to connect with the soul. So this is a little bit about philosophical points on book distribution, as well as some qualities that it will help us develop. We also wanted to go into some practical things. I don't know if before that we should look at some questions. A few people have hands raised.
Yes, Prabhu, thank you so much for your nice discussion so far. We have a few hands raised. Definitely we'll go through these questions, and as well as some reflections from all of you. So to make the session interactive for Prabhu to answer any questions. So Anna's Galaxy, Mataji and Prabhu, would you like to unmute and put your video on? And please ask a question. You have a hand raised.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for conducting this seminar. I'm sure it will help a lot of people. It will certainly help me and my wife, Padma Devi Dasi. My one little suggestion is, so far it was more like a lecture class. If you can maybe make it a little more interactive so that people keep attentive and, somehow. So that's one thing. The second thing, I have a small question. Like if I go out and I try to distribute some books, how do I start conversation? Do I stop people? So if you could just show a sample of, maybe not in this class, in next class, or just a sort of enactment, so that people actually get practical view of it and understand it more. That's just.
Thank you so much. That was the next part of our program here today.
Okay. All right.
So
thank you.
you for bringing that up. We just asked that before we got into that, if people had questions about anything. So yes, that's coming right up, Prabhu.
Okay, thank you very much, Prabhu. I'll just
Thank
wait.
you, Prabhu. So Honest Galaxy, Mataji and Prabhu, then with Pranam.
Prabhu, can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes.
can hear you.
Hi, thank you for allowing us to be in your class today. Really appreciate it. Me and my husband Willie here, we're brand new to Krishna consciousness. And I was wondering, is there a best time to start book distribution? How much should I know before I actually start?
Well, historically, we see that a large quantity of experience in Krishna consciousness is not necessary to begin. That in Prabhupada's time, people might join the temple and the next day go out for book distribution. So actually, there is no requirement of previous study time in order to go out. You will be able to feel for yourself that yes, the more you yourself become knowledgeable about the philosophy, the easier and more comfortable you will feel. But I would say it's up to you. If you're feeling inspired or you're getting that interest, then by all means, Prabhupada's books are quite self-explanatory. And you can even distribute books you haven't read yet. The service is so powerful that there can be no limits, really. So books, yeah, any books you can just talk about the back of. You can read a little bit about the back of the book or familiarize yourself somewhat, and don't hold back. Yeah.
All right, Paul. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Daivik Prabhu, you have a question, please unmute.
So actually, like I like distribute books with like the Atlanta devotees over there, and I sometimes go to India too. But I was just wondering that it's hard to like pretty much like go up to someone and like start a conversation with them. Like I always feel kind of shy. But so I was wondering how can we overcome that difficulty?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a big thing. And culturally, I also realize my experience is Indian culture is quite different from American culture. Indian culture is based a lot on humility, and American culture is based a lot on independence and kind of boldness. So I understand it can be a little daunting. It can be a little nervous, you know. American people, they may seem a little rude like this. So how to get over shyness? Well, I would say that this is a personal challenge for you, not just in book distribution, but in general in life. You know, getting out of our comfort zone is something that will help us in many different fields. So it really practice is something that will help with this, just like some people have a fear of public speaking. But they start doing it and they get over it. So there will definitely be some shyness, but what we're really just, you can say in one sense, we're just out to make friends. So we don't really get shy, you know, just meeting a new person or making a friend. It's shyness is more, I'm very feeling self-conscious about myself. I'm afraid people might look at me in a certain way. But if you're more you're more focused on connecting with the soul, then this should outweigh the material aspect of self, whatever our inhibitions are in terms of how people may look at us, or we might feel uncomfortable. We have there's a higher platform. We want to operate on a higher standard of this outreach, so that empowerment will come to you. If you're really serious and you really desire and you're really praying to Prabhupada, to Krishna, to be an instrument, then they will lift you over these apparent difficulties.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. I'll definitely try to put that into practice.
Okay, so we don't have too much time.
Thank you, Prabhu.
we-
Sorry, Prabhu. One more question from Vrindavani Mataji. I'm reading out the question from the chat. A quote: I would love to know about the book, Our Family Business, and how it can be used to further our understanding on how to practically distribute books.
Sounds like you may have answered your own question. It's a wonderful book by Vaishesh Prabhu, who is the, I believe he's a North American book distribution minister. And in that, he gives not only anecdotes, history, but also very practical steps and guidance. What elements you can incorporate in your life and in your practice to help you in book distribution. So actually, Prema Sarovar Prabhu would be a great resource to learn more about this book and pick up a copy if you don't have one already. I don't know that we'll be able to go into details of each section, but there are some key points he articulates about being organized, having enough books, making a plan, setting goals. So these are very, systematic principles which help us get organized. If you want to do anything in life, you really need a solid plan. If we don't make a plan for book distribution and we just think it's going to fall out of the sky, it's going to fall on our head, that's not going to be very effective. So yes, we would recommend this book. I mean, once you read the book, it's quite clear, the principles that he mentions. I think Prema Prabhu can also continue to assist you with that.
Thank you, Prabhu. One last question before you take it back. Atul, do you have a question? Please unmute.
You're muted.
Yes, in a temple, also various temple in Chicagoland area, we can distribute books. Dr. Rama Chakravarti was in the Glen Ellen temple, and he's our ISKCON member also. He was asking before that if a temple wants to come here for the book distribution, they can come over there on Saturday, Sunday. A lot of people, all different kind of people come over there from different community. So if we can target some temples like Aurora Balaji temples, we can ask them to have some time over there. We can spend 1 hour or something like that. The Nipper will, they do sometimes go to some places that.
Yes, thank you. This is great.
And always book distribution is a nice connections with the people. I like it, book distribution.
Okay, so there's different objectives of book distribution. One is to just get out as many books as possible. But nowadays, we also have a more overarching theme of why we're doing book distribution is to help people take up spiritual life. So that includes not just giving them a book and having them walk away, but also very thoughtfully brainstorming, okay, let's say they take the book. Let's say they really like the book. You know, in one sense, book distribution is the introduction for their future spiritual life, but we don't want that to be also the culmination. We want it to also be a doorway through which now they can actively take up spiritual life in sadhu sangha. So we should look at book distribution holistically. Having the books is one thing, but we should also have a plan for following up with people if they like a book or they want more information. This can be a temple card. We have some bhakti life. What's the title of that, Prem Sarovar? The Bhakti Community?
Yes, Prabhu, Bhakti Community.
Bhakti Community cards, how they can join actually a online community. And our real goal is to transform people's hearts. So book distribution is the means through which we try to enact that. How we should begin? First of all, we should be prepared. We should have a supply of books ourselves, or have somewhere where we can easily access them, like a neighborhood temple. And variety is important. the more, as Vaisheshwar says, the more you show, the more you sell. If you have a nice variety of different books, then you have a little bit more ammunition, so to speak. You have a little more power by which you can attract people. So also have your follow-up materials ready. Maybe it's a card, a temple card. Maybe you have a personal card. Somehow you can invite people to get more information. The Bhakti community cards. Now, basically, there's a simple standard procedure for book distribution that I learned that I'll share. And this is free to add your own implementation adjustments. But this is what kind of works for me. Wherever you are, you may try to seek out the more populated areas are often better chances than less populated areas. So see how you can orient yourself towards a more populous area where you might have more chance of coming directly in contact with people walking around or people engaged in any activity. Now, basically, you start out just trying to meet someone. So this will take you out of your comfort zone, but you have to actually make eye contact and greet someone. This might be a wave. This might be a hey. This might be a how are you? Hi there. Just a greeting, a simple greeting. This is step one for any subsequent actions to take place. So you try to actually establish an eye contact with a good intent, a good heart, and you'll actually try to stop someone. Maybe they're walking, maybe they're moving here or there, maybe they're in their car. You need to make it clear to this person that, hey, I need to talk, I want to talk to you about something kind of important in a friendly way, not in a way that we're going to scare them. Therefore, the smiles are important. So first, we're going to make this point of contact with a wave, eye contact, well, sending good energy to anyone. And then you'll actually ask them a question. The question is important because otherwise they will probably not stop and they probably won't give you any, they probably are a little concerned. Who is this person? Why are they talking to me? But you're approaching them and know that, hey, I have a question. Can you help me? This is the kind of spirit. And then the question from there is simply, as Vaisheshwar says, it's a hook. The question is just a way to get them to stop and pay attention to you. So you can ask anything. You can say, are you from Chicago? When I'm at a university, I say, hey, are you a student here? Somehow you just ask a quick question. It'll get them to stop and give you a response. That's all you're looking for. Now, once that's done and there's a pause, then we have the books in our hand already. This is important that we have a book bag on ours. We're carrying physical books with us. It may not be in your hand. If they see that you have it directly under your arm, this might send a red flag. So it's nice you carry a bag around your shoulder or a backpack somewhere easily accessible where you can easily reach in your bag and pull out the books. So once this initial contact is made, then you pull out the books. This is the important step. You take out the books and you simultaneously show and put the books in their hand and you say, we're getting these out to everyone. And then you offer the book to them. We're getting these out to everyone today. Now, at this point, the customer or the prospective Jivatma is a little unsure. Well, what is this? Is this free? Are you selling something? Should I take it? Does it have COVID? What's going on? So you have to be a little bit firm in your mood of just putting this book in their hand. The hand is very important. If it never goes into their hand, they probably won't take the book. But you just insist. You just say, here you go. And you just keep pushing it. You just keep pushing it towards their hand until they'll touch it. They'll take the book. They'll hold the book. So this is a key objective when you're distributing books. You need them to actually physically hold the book. And it's not hard. They will do it. If you have done steps 1, 2, and 3 nicely, they will actually touch that book. They will hold that book. And now the book is in their hands. Now 50% of your work is done. Now, we're getting these out to everyone today. And next, you need a quick one-line description of what it is. You say, these are books on meditation. These are books on yoga. Or these are books on yoga and meditation. So now they're looking at it, they understand what it is. See, because before you told them that, they don't know what it is. They're kind of curious. What is this? Now you're explaining, yes, these are books on yoga and meditation. And most people will not be so averse to that, given our situation in the world today. Wow. Now, at this point, it's good to customize. These steps have been generic, but now you need to really customize your approach based on this person. Think about what kind of, is this an old, it's in terms of their psychophysical nature, so you can make the presentation more relevant to them. It's an old man, it's a young student, it's a fitness, it's a lady who's working out. So now you want to actually customize how you're going to present this book so that it's what they will accept, what they're looking for. And this, you need to be tuned into super soul. You need to try to listen from within. Book distribution is about trying to be an instrument. Krishna will actually speak through you the right things that this or that person needs to hear. So it's a book on, you've explained, it's a book on yoga meditation. And now you may see, it's a young person, oh, you're a student? Yes. Have you ever studied philosophy? This is a great philosophical treatise from India. Or, oh, do you work out? Oh, okay, yeah. Meditation is shown to have clinical health and stress relieving benefits. Or maybe it's a professor. Oh, are you aware that Einstein read the Bhagavad Gita and he loved it? So from this, you need to have a little bit of knowledge about these books, and you'll try to receive some inspiration, how you can connect it to them, where they're at in their life. Okay, let me just check here. So now this is short also. This is not going into big details. You don't want them, they're very busy. You need to make it as sweet and concise as possible. And once you've explained another line or two, yes, meditations and ancient science from India, yes, philosophy really helps us see the bright side of life. You have that one or two lines in there. Maybe you show them a picture. What's great about the Bhagavad Gita, on the back of the book, there's quotes by Einstein, Emerson, Gandhi, Thoreau. So the backs of the books gives them a little more detail. Show them a picture, or flip over the book, review something from the book itself. And then is this next stage, which is also very critical. That is how to ask for a donation for the book. And the line that many of us use is that we don't sell these books. They're sacred. We just ask for a donation. So we don't want to act like we're just salesmen, because that involves kind of setting a set price and more like business. But at the same time, we can't give them out for free. So the middle ground is that we're asking for just a donation for these books. We just ask for a donation. Can you give a donation to help us? And this very simple line, if it's said with sincerity, there's one method of, okay, now I need to get the money. So do you have a donation? No, it's more, actually, this is for their benefit if they give for this knowledge. So with that in mind, we ask them, can you give a donation for this? Your consciousness, how you say this, will really affect them and what they choose to do. If we're just out to try to get money or something, it's going to come through. We need to have the mood of actually giving. By asking for a donation, we're giving. We're giving them the opportunity to get Sukriti. So can people just give a donation? Can you give a donation to help? Like this. And similarly, it's a little sensitive about the pricing because these books do cost money to print. So generally when we go out, we try to cover the printing costs minimally. And an average ratio is to try to get about double the printing costs, because Prabhupada established this kind of formula that half will cover the book price and the other can be used for expanding our movement. So if the book costs $1 to print, then we can ask for $2. We could say, yes, people give about $2. Or if you have a book, a Bhagavad Gita as it is, you'd say people give about $10. You want to ask, people will generally always try to give you the lowest possible. But if you ask for this certain amount, it sometimes helps them just get in touch with reality, because they want to give you 1 penny and take the book. But there's a book cost also that we're trying to cover. So it's important to ask for this once they've kind of agreed that they would like to give a donation. If you ask too soon, you know, they were planning, they only had $1 and you ask them for 10 or 20, it's not going to go over so well. So if they're into it, they really like it, and they're kind of really interested in taking that next step, generally they might look what they have, or they might tell you this is what I have, and then we can say, yeah, people give this much. Or if it's a small book, can you give just $1? Can you give $1? This is great about the small books. Most people have $1. You can spare $1. So then ideally they've appreciated the book. They've had a nice, pleasant exchange with you. They want to take the book. Now you need to be prepared by having change, because you'll be dealing with cash. So you need to have change on you whenever you go for book distribution. You need to have 5s, 10s, 1s. This is called, your cash wallet, so that you can give. They only have a 10, and they only can give $2. So you have to have that cash. And most people, unfortunately, nowadays are not carrying much cash. So you need to be equipped how you can take a credit card. There's a few prominent apps through which you can do this. One is called Venmo, Venmo. You should have this app. Another one is called Cash App. You can make free accounts. These are reputable apps. They're good for transferring money. And then when people don't have cash, like most people, then you say, do you have Venmo? Do you have Cash App? Or you can have what's called Square. And I think Prem Sarovar Prabhu can help anyone get set up with Square. It's easy to create an account, and you get a little card reader. People can use a card. So I don't have cash, no problem. We mostly do card, or we take a lot of cards, or Venmo, Cash App, PayPal. This is also part of your book distribution. We need to have some of these accounts to help receive the funds. Now they've made a donation. Now it's not finished. Now is very important of how we would like to help them follow up. So we want to give them a card, and you will meet some rare people who are just super interested. They really are. This just made their whole day. They were thinking a lot about this recently, and you were just at the right time, the right place. So I often will do is just try to personally follow up with them, say, hey, it would be great to keep in touch. If you have more questions about any of this, do you have a number, or we can stay in touch on WhatsApp? And I just get their number. Now, if you have their number, this is the easiest way to help them take the next step. You can send them a message. You can ask them in a day or two or a week, hey, did you get a chance to read the book yet? Or I just want to invite you to an upcoming program we're having at our temple. Or you could just say, hey, what's up? You could just make a friendship with them. So collect if you're able, if they seem open and interested, collect their contact information and follow up with them, and try to help bring them into this current, this mercy current, this flowing river. We want to bring everyone on board. And to conclude, we should try to make this an aspect of our life. Book distribution is a lifestyle. So that means, when you're going out grocery shopping, keep some spare books in your car. When you're filling your gas, all of these can be either a mundane chore or a transcendental adventure. The more you keep these books around with you, the more you're likely to distribute them and also read them. So try to keep these books, and whenever you have some errand to do, it'll make your life and whatever you have to do that day much more exciting if you can include some book distribution in there. So we're running out of time now. I think we should maybe check for any more questions, comments, or anything of that nature.
Prabhu, thank you so much for this profound discussion. It's very, very beneficial for all of us. I do have one question personally. We have seen, we give out Bhagavad Gita, book of meditation knowledge. At times the person is actually giving up $1 only. Oh, I don't have any cash, any more cash or something like that. So do you advise that we take the book away from him or her, or let them keep the book and we just take $1 instead of $10? So what is your advice there?
Yeah, so in this I recommend it's always good to have some small books with you. So in these circumstances, they don't have enough to cover the targeted price for the bigger books. Say, oh, well, if people only have $1, we usually give them a smaller book. Is that okay? And when you phrase it like that, 95% of people will say, no problem, that sounds great. And then that way they'll get transcendental knowledge, but you won't have to go bankrupt distributing books. Also, there's a little flyer, the Krishna Reservoir of Pleasure flyer, or on chanting Hare Krishna. And these only cost about 11 cents. You can carry 100 of these with you. And then if people have no money, at least they can get a little flyer of transcendental knowledge. So this is another good solution, because this issue, yes, it will come out a lot. And then sometimes you're feeling just, these people are really interested in the Gita. Yeah, you can have it for $1. Go ahead. Because if we do this service regularly, and the donations will come back, it will cover it. Or we can just pitch out of our own pocket. That's also beautiful. That, yeah, I'm gonna buy this Gita for you myself. Here, take it. So like that.
And last question is, for a brand new beginner on the other side, what is the best book you recommend for all of us to give out? It's probably not Bhagavad Gita, or if you think some other books would be like planets or.
Yeah, I mean, Science of Self-Realization is a favorite book for devotees and newcomers alike. Personally, I meet so many people who have read this book and it's changed their life. It's a really great introductory level compilation of Prabhupada's teachings, and it's very attractive cover. It's a little, mysterious. So this is high on the list, I would say. Bhagavad Gita is a favorite because it's actually a very well reputed book. It's very well known. So and then small books are always good. Yoga, Perfection of Yoga, because it's just so popular. So starting with these, and then I would say if you can become comfortable with distributing these books, then you can increase, and it will be easier to get into some of the bigger books.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. So with that, unless anybody else has questions.
Let me check with Madhuresh Prabhu. He was requesting some more techniques. Anything from you? Anything else, Prabhu?
No, Prabhu, you explained it nicely. And in later session, you did explain how to all these, ways to get people to listen to you and, get into conversation and try to give them book. So that's,
yes. Stay tuned, Prabhu. You have to tune in each month if you want them more. This is just the sample. This is like a little appetizer.
Yes, thank you so much.
So thank you again, Acharya Mr Prabhu. This is a huge mercy for you taking the time coming over and spending an evening with us. I know you're in France. So dear devotees, this is a monthly program. This is our inaugural session, as he said. We're going to continue this every month towards the end of the month and throughout the year. So please, and please come.
We look forward to.
And we look forward to working together and serving Kishore Kishori and all the devotees.
Thank you all so much. Keep up the good work. All the best. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank
Hari
you.
bol.
There you go. Very good.
Thank you, Prem Sarava Prabhu, for arranging this. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thanks to all the people who joined.
Hare Krishna.